Teens behaving poorly is a problem a lot of our communities are facing, and officials are finding ways to curb the presence of out-of-control teenagers by enforcing curfews and requiring chaperones. In this week's episode of Street Soldiers, Lisa Evers takes a closer look at what officials are doing to get troubled teens back on track.
From vandalism and shoplifting to broad daylight shootings, teens are at the center of behavior controversies and violent crime. While most youth do the right thing, those who cross the line are doing it more often and increasingly with a gun in their hand. Teens fighting and brawling in shopping areas has become such a concern. Some malls, chain stores, and even fast food restaurants are banning underage teens unless they're accompanied by an adult. Student leader Jason Bostic says the overarching theme behind the chaos and unrest is poverty.
We have to think about the things that these people are going through, the neglect that fell them in school, the neglect that fell them from policing. There's a bunch of systems that fail individuals before the system catch them.
The Council on Criminal Justice says during a 6-year study ending in 2022, murders by teens jumped by 65%. The number of teens using guns rose by 21%. The NYPD says the average age of the trigger pullers keeps dropping and is now under 19 for the first time. The shocking surveillance video of a broad daylight shooting shows bullets spraying a playground and being fired over the heads of a family. It's from a 73-count murder and shooting indictment of 20 alleged gang members. 13 were under 17, and 10 are already behind bars on other cases.
To see it will show you what they go through as they're trying to live their everyday lives. And it must stop. Our youth must stop choosing guns and gangs.
New York City Probation Commissioner Juanita Holmes says there's a small percentage of teens arrested and rearrested who are behind most of the disorderly conduct and crime.
They're responsible for the bulk of the arrest. So it's recidivism, the same way it's driving New York City Police Department. Naturally, those numbers are applicable to probation.
Most parents and leaders agree youth programs can be a big positive influence. New York City Assistant Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Mona Suazo, says there are many more available than people realize, all listed on nyc.gov/DYCD. For example,
we have the Saturday Night Lights. This is a citywide program. It's a partnership to keep the gyms open on Saturday nights. This is when young people may be more susceptible to get into trouble.
We dive into this issue as well as realistic solutions on the next episode of Street Soldiers. I look forward to having you join us Friday night after the 10 o'clock news.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash, the honest apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Citation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Also, there's like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show to the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Long one of y'all brothers to edify and the few sisters. All right. As we could clearly see, this is, NYC. They bring up this whole youth, going against the youth movement, and this is throughout all of America. This is just a prime example. All right, this is throughout all of America, and this is well known. This is the formula. That's the best way. That's the best way I can say it. This is the formula. Part of that formula, the main corporate of that formula. You got to go into the history of things. You always have to go to the history. Why? Because the history would tell you, would dictate to you this behavior that we're seeing, that they now coming up publicly saying is out of control. It didn't happen overnight. No. This is not a one generation. It's not a 2 generation. Now this has been multiple generations. Okay, this is a poison that was allowed to fester in the minds of many. Now, a lot of people will sit there and say, the talking point in the guy said it, right? Poverty. That's one talking point. The other talking point is there's no father in the house. So they are both correct, but who's responsible for that? the fathers refuse to be, a parent to their child. Who's responsible for that? At the end of the day, the poor, the people that needs to be led, is being led by whom? It's not being led by their own people. It's being led by other people. And these other people that has been leading you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans down a destructive path for a long period of time. Now, people can say, oh, why it gotta be a race thing? You gotta be a fool to not to see it's not a race thing. It's always been a race thing. It's always been a race thing. When you think of something that's bad and evil and all this negativity, you think of quote unquote blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Shit. They had fucking, I remember when I was a kid, they were all movies, of course, but it was the cowboys and Indians. The cowboys always killed the Indians. No matter what. Okay? Even in the 80s, as booming the 80s were, you watch any movie, TV shows, the gangsters, it wasn't called gangsters. They were just common criminals. All right? That was always getting the shit beaten by these people that will enforce the laws of the land. Now, one particular film I'm thinking of is Dirty Harry. Dirty motherfucking Harry. And I believe it was the first Dirty Harry, if I'm not mistaken, where he had took out his gun. It was all black, these black thugs, before they was called thugs. These little hoodlums. It come up with a whole damn, what's that word? I just had it. It'll come to me. But they all come up with these slanders. That's a good one too. On the people. All right? But it was all fine and dandy when blacks, Latinos, that was thrown into jail because it was so violent for being poor and all this other shit. You fast forward it, when a thing was called rap music back then came out, it was a street thing for people that lived in the hood. Right? It came public. But there was so many diversity of this one particular sound that music executives decide, oh, we're going to just keep it the gangster way. Why? According to a rapper from Bone Thugs and Harmony, stated that he heard from somebody that they had a meeting to enforce a particular section of this music that was called hip hop. So that way they can fill their jails up to destroy the houses of the poor. And right after that, you had particular laws, which was I forgot the name of it, which the last president was a part of, that a little gram of coke that was cooked up, you get a harsher punish than actual cocaine. And the actual cocaine was more expensive than this little rock that was cooked. And who did these poor people who has nothing learn how to cook this thing from? They didn't just come up out of the blue and just do it. No. Who was responsible for it? And then they still had to learn to allow you to know that the U.S. government was responsible for putting crack into the neighborhoods. And their whole thing was what? it was to fight communism down in South America. They'll openly tell you all these things. So what did it do? It devastated a whole generation of people. Removed fathers out the household. But it was worse than feminism back in the 70s. Who was responsible for all that? So now we fast forward to this shit show from the streets of Chicago, the streets of Philadelphia, LA. Shit. You got this certain cities that was not even a big thing of violence that was taking place in these cities, because you had the big cities, New York, Washington, Chicago was always had a fucking name into, but certain other cities in America that are just as violent as the big cities. So now they coming up with the solution. Oh, the youth is out of control. I wonder why. I wonder why. I have to just say all that. Get a couple of scriptures. I ain't gonna be there that long. Revelations 12 and 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation. So John is seeing visions of the future. All right. In the Isle of Patmos, the Spirit of the Lord came unto John and showed him a whole bunch of things. So he heard what's happening. So basically he's in a bird eye. He's part of the people that's seeing exactly what's happening from a bird eye's point of view. All right. He's hearing the words that's being spoken. That's why it says, now it's come salvation. Salvation of what? Who's going to be saved? The children of Israel. Who needs real saving? We seen it. We're seeing it, a whole generation of degenerates that they become the offsprings of other degenerates. Just like the movie Gremlins. It started out cute and cuddly, right? Matter of fact, hold on. I gotta get this scripture. It just hit me. Let me get this Jeremiah. Was it Jeremiah I was thinking about? Yeah, man. Yeah, Jeremiah 2:14. No. Jeremiah 2:21. That's the one. It says, yet I have planted thee a noble vine. So the Lord said he created us to be noble. So when you watch the movie Gremlins, you see this most cutest, humblest, make-believe animal. Whose name was Gizmo. So adorable. The most adorable thing that you ever seen in your life. It spoke. It didn't speak regular. It just sounds cute. A real fake. How did it? And the movie was agua. Damn, I forgot what they call them. But it was something cute. But there was rules. There were rules for this cute thing. All right. And yeah, I can't believe breaking this down like this. But so the Gook gave him. First of all, he didn't know that according to the movie, he was told. The father was told, okay, I'm not gonna sell you this thing. And he did everything I think he stole. But before he stole it, he told him there was certain rules. You're not supposed to feed him at midnight. All right, you're not supposed to bathe them, not supposed to bathe them or nothing like that. But he never explained why. But so the cracker Edomite take the gizmo, before it's called gizmo, to give it to his son. There's a lesson behind that. So one, he took something that did not belong to him. Sounds familiar, right? He stole something that was not made for him to have. He was told he couldn't have it. So he took it anyway. And then once he had it, he did not know how to take care of it. Sounds real familiar, right? So real quick, let me read this and I go back to the other one. It says, "Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy right seed. How that turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me." So the Lord said that about his own people. All right. Meaning he gave us the law, statutes, and commandments, and we became degenerates. Oh, matter of fact, I gotta look up the word. But it doesn't matter. It's to fall back, to go back, right? So we became a degenerate. Now, who's cultivating this degeneracy more? It's impossible for the poor to keep. If I live in a back in the days, if you live in a certain neighborhood, you have to walk around in order to get to know what's going on or hear the word in the streets. We don't control the television or the radio stations. It was the things that's present to us. So they can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's because of you people." This no, it was never because of the poor. The poor does not control. The poor is going to do what they got to do to survive, and also who made the poor, who kept the poor the way they were. Shit rolls up. It comes downhill, but shit rolls up. Somebody started this shit. But let me go back to this. It said, "I heard a voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation." So who needs salvation? The same people that's been targeted for all these years. And strength. And the kingdom of our power. So we need to be saved from this current present world of danger, right? And the power of his anointed through Yahushua. This is the only way that the children of Israel can survive, can make it. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. So the angels saying on their behalf, they're just basically saying they see it all. Who is accusing of who? All right. That's why the majority of the Republicans, they were always tough on crime. And the Democrats were more lenient. It's a cycle that goes on and on. But the key thing was they were tough on crime. Who created an environment? Who cultivated an environment of criminals? Right? Who established and made criminals seemingly to be a popular thing? Last time I remember, all these films, there was always a particular people that controls the narrative of these films, of what's being presented on the television. Because this shit just don't pop up out of the woodworks. No. There's people that's behind it. Psalms, is it 55? No, it sounds 50. It says Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, "What hast thou to do to declare my statutes?" What is the Lord's statutes? The laws and the commandments, right? So what are you to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. Because the covenant was only given to the nation of Israel. Point blank, period. Seeing thou hatest instruction and cast my words behind thee. And this is a twofold. This is for 2/3 of the nation of Israel and the wicked. All right? Because at the end of the day, whose laws are we following? Or supposed to be following? All right? And what do they get majority of their laws? They get it from the scriptures. So even when they give these laws, they break their own laws. When I saw as a thief that consented with him, and that has been partakers with adulterers, we came in agreement. That givest thy mouth to evil, thy tongue frameth deceit. The narrative. What is the narrative in the media? The narrative is blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are savages. All right? They're shooting in broad daylight. Where these guns come from? Why do they have this? Why people could go back in this? I'm from the 80s. But why people in the 70s could sit there and say, we used to do this way. People used to party and blah, blah, blah. There's a whole thing of right now that's going on with social media. People are starting to look at old videos of the 90s where people was more interactive with each other than social media. Who's responsible for all this dramatic change? Human beings have a thing of trying to get with each other, but people have become now unsocialized. They're not socializing themselves with others. Who's responsible for that? Who runs this shit? All right. It says, "Thy sittest and speaketh against thy brother," because Jacob and Esau are brethren. "Thy slanderest thine own mother's son." The key word is slanderous, which means Hebrew word is dapaya, blemish, fault. So you find faults and make it public for everyone to see. But you are responsible for that. Oh, here's the best part. Strong definition: an unused root, meaning to push over. A stumbling block, slanderous. So when people come from another country, they see a quote-unquote dark-skinned man, automatically he's black. And as soon as they come here, they're given the tour, stay away from these black people. Stay away from that person. So you're already slandering these people. Right? So the narrative is always being pushed that the people of these particular descents are savages. But the other side, the other people, they don't do no wrong. They don't go out there shooting and, but there's TV shows like the ID channel that shows you very different. The most horrific crimes are always Caucasians. Killing their parents for life insurance. Plotting out, doing it, but you'll never see them. You will never see these things in the media because they're trying to push a narrative. Okay? But they are responsible for all the acts. If you want to be a ruler, every person that's under you, matter of fact, it says it here. Ecclesiastes 10:2. It says, matter of fact, right. Ecclesiastes 10:1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So a wise judge will not allow anything and everything for the people, because he knows the people, if you allow the people too much liberty or too much of anything, they will lose it. As a judge of the people is himself, so is his officers, so the judges of this society is whom? So-called white people. So-called white men, Edomites. Okay? So if your government officials, your presidents, your senators, congressmen, people that's supposed to be in a prominent position, your police force and all that, were righteous, the people would be righteous. But being the crooks that they are, the people are crooks. Like Donald J. Trump right now have the United States in a frenzy. He tells everybody in one breath about the tariffs and how these other nations, I did a couple of weeks ago. Was it a couple of years? talking about how the nations are kissing his ass. But what's happening on the forefront? The other nations are not kissing his ass. Some nations are negotiating with him, but the ones that's on top, they're not even respecting him. Okay? So what is well known in the United States of America is a consuming nation. And what is also known in the United States, you do whatever you have to do in order to have the materialistic things that you need. If you got to take it by force, you're going to take it by force. This is what's being programmed to the people for many, many years, decades. All right? So the finished product, especially for the lost people, is these acts. All right? All these little things that you see, yeah, you see these shits on movies, all right, TV shows, and so forth. They're being taught to be gangsters. They're being taught to be thugs, savages, all right? They're being taught to do whatever it takes to get the bag. Don't let nobody disrespect you. You damn turn on the television if you don't go outside. You can watch shows like Power and so forth. Now, you see black men, and you may hear, 50 cents. But who's responsible for that? Who's pushing it? It's like the Breakfast Club was talking to Leon Cohen. Leon Cohen, which is executive into the hip hop scene, the music scene, was part of every major label, all right, who's responsible for a lot of changes in the industry before the average person even could recognize. He was talking about the fentanyl use, and then when they asked him, so why are you allowing that to happen? You're executive. And when he said, I gotta feed my family. So under their fucking own breath, they admit the shit that's going on. But their excuse is they gotta make money off it. So follow the money. Why are these kids acting the way they are? Because they were from the day of high school. When you go to high school, you're being taught how to work, if you work, and how to, or lead you to prison. And you think, because I remember when I was young, they used to make it feel like going in and out of jail was a good thing. That was a badge of honor, right? So they'll have the people behaving in a dysfunctional manner, and it will assume that was the way to go. Matter of fact, it says, "And what man of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein." Now, we had a whole bunch of stuff, cases on this guy, the mayor of New York, talking about how corrupt his office is. Where do you think he get the formula from? All right, but it says it was like 58. No. Oh, second verse is 5 and 8. There shall be confusion. Matter of fact, this is talking about the end times. I will just read to the point. There shall be confusion also in many places. The fire shall be offset out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. And that's happening, right? And menstrual women shall bring forth monsters. So you take the father out the household, allow the woman to run the household. She then yet produce like the gremlins. All right, she feed after midnight. All right, Well, the water thing that was just off. But she feed after midnight, and what ended up happening? The hatchlings come about, and they become what? Gremlins. Right? They become little fucking monsters. In order to survive this, you have to be a fucking monster. In order for any person to get any type of clout, not even clout, just to be a normal person, you gotta be a fucking monster. And this is what the behavior that's being broadcast and publicized in United States of America. The shit that they're doing, they're not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because that's what they was told to do to get what they want. All right. What is it the saying in the streets? Close mouth to get fed. Take matters into your own hand. But if you take matters into your own hand, society will publicly take you down. Why? Because you out of your place. So you get locked up and be a statistic, while the other side, they'll do the most violent shit and nothing happens. But we seen monsters are being produced in a rapid pace. In a rapid pace. Sorry. These little niggas are fucking monsters, yo. It says Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because they have rejected knowledge." So the Lord's chosen people don't have no knowledge, and they reject it. Why? Because the Lord don't want them and left them to their own devices. However, they're being told, take matters into their own hands. It says, "I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that hate has forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children." So now you have a whole generation of children that are dying worse off than the adults, and they're dying. Is true. Back in the days, motherfuckers would literally celebrate to pass a certain age, and that certain age is teenager. If you get through that, you good. Because why? People were dying. Who made this shit popular? Who put it out there? Alright? We call a spade as a spade, man. The ruler of... Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Isaiah, I think it's 3:12. "As for my people, children are the oppressors, which are the Edomites. They are oppressing us. Right? And women rule over them. And what do? They bring forth monsters. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy thy way of thy past." Because if you destroy the youth, if the youth is acting like this, no respect, no honor in the aged men or the aged woman, don't give a damn about even the younger, there's no future. Shit. The women turn on their own men. There's no fucking future. So those that lead the Lord's people have destroyed the Lord's people. Alright? Matter of fact, let me get the other one. Jeremiah 4:22. "For my people is foolish." The Lord, once again, the Lord is isolating and basically saying his possession out of all people. "They have not known me. They are sottish children, stupid, extremely stupid. They have no understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge." Now, why do they have the knowledge to do evil? Right? Why are they so wise to do evil? The rulers of this world is allowing them to exercise evil behavior. This is why. So if they, just like of a father in the household, and your daughter become a slut, a whore, a tramp, what, she become the talk of the town, what's the first thing they said? Oh, the parents failed them, right? The parents failed them. So if you are a ruler, you are responsible for what the poor does. And this is how they they want to clean it up. So with this whole after school special shit, because it was back in the days the same fucking thing. To get Saturday night to go to a facility so that children stay out of trouble, all this, it's just causing more trouble. The streets are dangerous because all they have is self-hating Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And Esau is responsible for all this shit. Okay? He's responsible for all of it. Scripture tells you in Psalms the 73rd, 72nd. They are not in trouble like other men. And that's talking about the Edomites. They do the same damn thing, worse. Yet, they don't get punished. But our people do. But it's all part of the plot of, all part of the Lord's plan. All right? Whatever Esau has done to us as the Lord's people, the Lord is allowing it to happen. We got one more. Oh, I can go back to that. No. Revelations 12 and 17. I'm thinking of. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, which is Esau. This is history. All right, to this moment, to this very day, and went to make war with the remnant. So part of the destruction to the people is them making war with us. All right, and the remnant is the elect. So somebody to act like there's always a peaceful thing, nah, it's never been peaceful. They've been at war. They attack you in your sleep, attack you physically, they attack you food, water. All right, this man is at war. And the divide and conquer scenario is happening to us, to our people. So this man knows exactly what he was doing. It says, the war of her seed, which kept the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahushai, Mashiach. All right, one more. Jeremiah, James 5 to the point 4. I could hold on. Yeah, let me just get to the point. 5 and 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. Talking about, this is all. The subject is the rich man. All right, the rich of the society, which are the Rothschilds, people that you can't account how much. Not the Fortune 500, not these little mayors and no. These lawmakers don't run shit. All right, they being run. They're being ran through. It says, who reap down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. So you out there busting your ass, you're not getting the full wages because this man's keeping things. He's defrauding us. Since the crieth and the cries of them which reap, which are the workers, are into the ears of the Lord Sabaoth, which is Yahushua. You have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanting, which wanting when you look up is mean undisciplined, usually in a sexual sense. So they're doing whatever they want, however they want. And what is part of that is attacking the very poor. All right? You have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. So since the beginning, how they established this land and so forth, they have been massacring, destroying people of the world. You have condemned and killed the just. Let's look up the word condemned. To give judgment against one, to announce guilty. So this whole media thing, they already condemned the Lord's people. That's why when you hear the narrative, when these activists, which they all sold out as well, will sit there, yeah, it's poverty. There's the well behaved, the misbehavior because these people lack this and that. And what do the people say? They call bullshit, right? So what? Because the society already condemned. You're already condemned, in and out of jail, so forth. You don't have a standard chance. So they have condemned and killed the just, and do if not resist you. So, yeah, Esau, you are responsible for all the wrongs that the nation of Israel does. All right, you are responsible. One more, and then that's it. Daniel's 7. It says, "He shall speak great words against the Most High." Talking about Esau, mainly America, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Wear out meaning constantly harass. It says Bala, to wear away, wear out, to harass constantly. So that's what it says right here. To be put, but used only in the mental sense. So they attack your psyche, they attack your mental, which is go back to what? Psalms 83rd chapter, Psalms 2nd chapter. All right. So why? So that they can condemn us, leading the people to a life of crime, leaving no exits. And everybody understands that. And when you're a child, you don't know these things. You thinking everything is sweet because everybody called you cute. You was no threat back then. But as you get older, you become a threat. And then everything comes against you. They set up a system to come against the Lord's chosen people. That's that constant harassment. That's why we wear the fuck out. Because it's a consistent thing. It doesn't stop. and they shall wear out the saints of the Most High and think to change times and laws. And one of the main things is taking the father out the household. Straight up. And it was given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of times, which is right now, since 1600s to 1975 or 1960s when our business came. But we still in this man's hand. We still in his grasp. Our people have not gone on. We still subject to his wickedness. But the judgment shall sit. What judgment? The judgment was going to take down America. ICBM thermonuclear missiles. All right? And all the shit that they did to make the Lord hate his people, and you set it up. All right? When it says accuse of our brothers, they got witches and warlocks telling them The Most High, these are your people. Look what they're doing. But the Lord knows you're responsible for that. And because of that, the Lord's not gonna budge when it's gonna happen to this place. It says, and they shall take away his dominion and consume and destroy it unto the end. And the best healing for the Lord's people is the destruction of America. That is the best natural way. Alright, this place is traumatizing all his people. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nations. Shalom.